5 FM.
Hello there, good afternoon. You're welcome to Starr Midday News. I am Serwaa Amihere. Coming up, the Auditor General pursues driver who failed to deliver about 3 million pieces of male condoms and other contraceptives valued at 1.34 million Ghana cedis to the regional medical stores in the Eastern region. Meanwhile, health analysts questions Ghana Health Services' failure to address the situation.
It is negligence, it is connivance to some of us, and as I've said, this is a commodity to come and stop the spread of sexually transmitted diseases and to help our women control their birth, to allow proper population. If somebody has bolted with this, he has caused a very big harm to the country.
Majority MPs defend new controversial LI seeking to give lawmakers and other public officials the right to use sirens without speed limit.
Some members of parliament and some even state ministers and even some judges have been arrested on the road because they are trying to meet their work schedule. So the remedy is to amend the law to make it lawful for people like that to be able to have special access where necessary.
Meanwhile, the minority counterparts have opposed the new LI. Also coming up, government assures of initiating more policies to tackle unemployment as about 2 million youth aged between 15 to 35 years revealed to be idle, according to the Ghana Statistical Service.
Government will do more, and government promises to do more, so that this number in the foreseeable future will reduce.
But private legal practitioner Kwame Janto expresses skepticism of the assurance.
How have those programs been put together? What has been the plan for the youth?
While West Member of Parliament sounds alarm over ongoing recruitment into security services, warning politicization of security agencies will be the final nail into the coffin of Ghana's democracy. We have details of these and many more coming up in the next 30 minutes. Please stay.
Star News is coming to you live on Ultimate 106.9 FM in Kumasi, Empire 102.7 FM in Takrady, Cool 103.5 FM in Ho, Rage and Might FM in Tamale, Somali FM in Wa, My Star Radio in the USA. Also live on Facebook on Star 103.5 FM and on starfm.com.gh around the world. This is Star 103.5 FM.
You're welcome once again to Starr Midday News. I am Serwaa Amihere. Today, majority MPs have defended the new controversial LI seeking to give lawmakers and other public officials the right to use sirens without speed limits. The amendment of the Road Traffic Regulations 2012 LI 2180 gives MPs and judges the right to use sirens without speed limits. The new LI, which was laid in Parliament about 3 weeks ago, has drawn public condemnation. But addressing the media in Parliament, Andy Apiakubi, a member of the Subsidiary Legislation Committee, argued that the new LI will facilitate their work.
The Constitution itself says that let them come unimpeded. But in recent times, we see that the restriction is rather not coming from central government or government, but it's rather coming from situations on the road. So assuming we had members of parliament living in different parts of Accra, and the road situation is that bad that they cannot come to parliament to do the work that they are mandated to do constitutionally, and they use that time in traffic. What will be the quantum of work he will do when he gets here? Already he is tired. Again, one will argue that leave home early. So you leave home early at 4 o'clock, come and stay here at 5, and come and wait till 10 o'clock when Parliament will resume. And by that time, what amount of energy would you have to expend? And you finish here, and you still have to wait until 8 o'clock before you can go home. Look at the loss of time and loss of quality man hours. So if there is any justification in giving special access to any of the Article 71 office holders, then it presumes that all the members of Article 71 office holders ought to be given the same access, so that in the discharge of their duties, we can hold them and we can expect that the productivity will improve because they are not impeded on the road. We can check the abuses by implementing the law, targeting the rightful persons to enjoy the right.
Also, Member of Parliament for the Toulon constituency, Habib Idris, insists that the new LI aligns with the rights and privileges that should be accorded to MPs.
I don't think it is out of place if other jurisdictions are able to do that in Africa. Right. Why can't we do it for 275? And me, I think it is a call in the right direction. Okay. All right. So that members can be able to do their work effectively. Because if they're supposed to pass something, and I am somewhere, and out of the fact I cannot use siren, then they pass it against the they will start to insult you. How many times, especially in this parliament, that we have been able to see that, oh, we are going to vote, this person is not there. And they say, okay, the person is not there because of what? He is locked up in traffic, he's locked up in here, another thing. He cannot. Right. In effect, you could see that if the constitution have given members of parliament some certain rights and some privileges under the constitution, I don't think it is out of place to say that the 275 out of over 30 million or 30 million Ghanaians should be allowed to use siren. It's not always the case.
But it's not an alternative. I mean, perhaps you can even write to the police service to provide you with a dispatch rider to lead. I mean, we see MPs, do that all the time.
But you see,
MPs,
we make the laws. We make the
sirens
laws. We make the laws. So you have seen several occasions that members of parliament are supposed to do something in parliament. They are coming, they've been arrested, they are sending them to court, they have been arrested here, they have been able to do that.
Yeah, because they are not above the law.
No, but right? I understand that part. But yes, that's why we are trying to say that. Why not? Okay, you see a police officer who is moving in a police van out of no emergency or something. He's using the siren and he's going. Is he more Ghanaian than the member of parliament who is making the law to them? Is he more Ghanaian than the member of parliament who is approving their budget for them?
Well, their counterparts in the minority have released a statement on this, and Eli Plim who joins me. Eli Plim, what are they saying?
So, Serwaa, it's a 7-worded statement. And then it says, we understand that the broader purpose of the regulations was to bring the Road Traffic Regulations 2012 LI 2180 up to speed on many matters relating to the registration and licensing of motor vehicles. However, the legislative instrument also includes provisions granting certain public officials, including ministers of state and members of parliament, the privilege to use sirens on the road and not be liable for exceeding speed limits. This aspect of the road regulations has drawn huge public condemnation. The report of the Subsidiary Legislation Committee is yet to be brought to the floor for debate and discussion. However, given the sentiments expressed so far, members of the NDC Minority Caucus wish to make it abundantly clear that we stand with the Ghanaian public on this issue and wish to signal our opposition to the amendment without any reservations. Therefore, we have instructed all our members on the committee to strongly oppose it at the committee level. We have also directed all 137 NDC members of parliament to vote en bloc against the legislative instrument when it is brought to the floor. The government must redirect its attention to addressing the germane issues facing the people of Ghana at the moment, such as high cost of living, food inflation, unemployment, high cost of fuel, the depreciation of the cedi, and the high tax regime, which is forcing businesses to relocate to neighboring countries in West Africa. Finally, it says, we call on the Minister of Transport to immediately withdraw the legislative instrument before it matures into law after 21 days, and to sign by the minority leader, Cassiel Atoforsen. So,
thank you very much, Eli Plim Ewuku. I mean, haven't you seen minority members of parliament use cars with sirens before?
Well, there are anomalies when they are not using it. It's so normal to see them put on their sirens, drive past us in traffic for various reasons. Sometimes to funerals, to weddings, hardly probably to the parliament house.
This thing that the minority does and always release statements and make it look like they're with the masses. Yeah. It's very funny to me because they are also guilty of it.
Well,
if we didn't oppose to it, they would have accepted it, no? And they would have been using it.
Well, at least they are talking about hindsight, they are making effort to at least pretend to agree with us or feel our pain. I don't know what it is, but if you're out of power, you tend to agree more with the citizens than when you're in power.
I agree with you. Thank you so much, Elik Plim Ewuku, my colleague there, bringing us a statement from the minority. Still on this, some members of the public have been speaking to Star News about the new controversial LI.
For the siren, I think that due to their busy schedules, maybe they have to get somewhere on time, so they have to use the sirens. But the overspeeding, I think we have laws that governs road safety, right? That makes sure that everyone is supposed to be in a speed limit for a particular road.
They should enforce it that there should be a very few or selected people who should be using that. And if you are a member of parliament and you have a meeting, you should make sure, we know that they have busy schedules, but they should also make sure they set off before the actual time for the meeting to avoid all this.
I believe that the ministers and the MPs are already having a lot of advantages in the country, and now for us to implement the use of the siren whilst driving, I think it's not a good idea at all. I honestly think that something should be done about it, because when you give them the opportunity to do that, some might misuse that opportunity, and then there's going to cause and that's actually going to cause a lot of accidents on the road, which is actually not a good thing at all. We're in a country where we need to do a lot of things, and this is what we are thinking about. Trust me, it's not the best, and I think something should be done about this.
Well, still on this, the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin, has denied knowledge of the controversial LI, seeking to allow MPs to use sirens without speed limits. He was speaking at a Parliamentary Network Africa program. We'll bring you that very shortly. But my colleague, Ibrahim Al-Hassan, who is a parliamentary correspondent, joins me over the phone right now. IB? Hello, IB. Okay, we apologize for that. We will try and reconnect the line. Okay, Ibrahim was on the line now. Ibrahim Al-Hassan is our parliamentary correspondent, and we just told you that the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin, has denied knowledge of the said controversial LI, seeking to allow MPs to use sirens without speed limits. Ibrahim Al-Hassan joins me on the phone now. Ibrahim, thank you for joining us. Is this serious? The Speaker is not aware?
So that's a good question. Yes, indeed. Call it dramatic. Call it confusion, and Serwaa, you will not be wrong. And that is because yesterday the defense was started by a Member of Parliament for Asante Achem North and Kwame Appiah-Kubi, who gave us 1,001 reasons why Members of Parliament need sirens to make them productive. Later in the evening, Abib Idrisu, Member of Parliament for Tolon, and then Deputy Majority Chief Whip, was on State of Affairs. And he equally justified the move for the ally, which has already been laid in Parliament, so to speak. It's been here for the past 3 weeks. And then this morning, Dominic Ayeni, doctor, who is the chairman for the Subsidiary Legislation Committee, belonging to the minority side, the NDC, is heard on media platforms defending this particular ally. And I'll stay on that for a little while longer. That's because there are about 3 or so committees in Parliament chaired by the minority. One of them is the Public Accounts Committee, chaired by, of course, James Kuruchaveji, and then Subsidiary Legislation Committee, chaired by Dr. Dominic Ayeni. Whenever any legislation is coming to Parliament, which is not a bill, what happens is that it will go through the Subsidiary Legislation Committee. The I's will be dotted, the T's will be crossed. If there are any concerns, this committee will raise the concerns with the sponsoring agency, in this case, the Ministry of Transport, and those concerns will be addressed. After which, the report from the committee is brought to the plenary, and then the LI is late. The LI doesn't go through the process of passage of bill. So after 21 sitting days of Parliament, the LI matures, is gazetted, then it becomes a law. And that's exactly what has happened to this particular LI, seeking to amend the road traffic regulations to allow members of Parliament, members of the judiciary, among other individuals, to have the right and the privilege to use sirens and also not observe the regular speed limit for you and I. But the Dominic Ayine defended this. And then a moment ago, we had a statement from the minority leader, Dr. Serwaa Amihere, indicating that given the public backlash and then the outrage, the minority demands immediate withdrawal of the LI. As if that was not enough, the Speaker of Parliament, Dr. Alban Bagbin, who is speaking at Legon as I engage you right now, has indicated that he had no knowledge whatsoever of the LI and the fact that it had been late. And so you ask the question, how this is possible? Yes, this is possible. This is possible because the Speaker doesn't preside over all proceedings. Sometimes he relinquishes his seat to the first deputy speaker to say for Sewusu, sometimes the second deputy speaker. For the past 1 month or so, I can say that the deputies to Alban Bagbin have sat in his seat much more than he himself. In fact, for the past 2 weeks, I could say that he sat on that seat less than 5 times. And so, therefore, it's possible. What is befuddling is the fact that the Speaker is in essence saying that he's not even aware that the bill, the LI had been brought to Parliament. And that's what is very strange. And I'm sure that when you engage members of Parliament, they tell you that they have their own reservations, but those reservations will be raised on the floor. And we expect the Speaker to come back to Parliament today and preside. The delay is because Dr. Serwaa Amihere has a date in court. And so, and the Speaker had equally other engagements that he's attending to, after which the House is expected to reconvene and then bring proceedings to a start.
All right. Thank you very much. Ibrahim Al-Hassan is our parliamentary correspondent. Let's now listen to the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin.
Sirens and also no speed limit. This social media thing, there's nothing like that before Parliament. There's nothing like that before Parliament. And so I thought maybe something was being done behind my listen. So I started calling all over, and all my directors said no, they have not seen anything like that. I have the responsibility of admitting many of these things. Sometimes they may elude me, but I haven't seen any sign. Then later on, I was told it was a regulation that Parliament was amended. We don't amend regulations. We don't have the power by the Constitution to amend regulations or instruments. We don't have. So to start with, I then told the people that no, that one can't be true. Your Parliament cannot amend. We have delegated, the Constitution, in fact, has delegated that power to other bodies, not to Parliament. And so when they bring an instrument, either in the nature of an LI, that's legislative, or CI, constitutional, if out of 100 provisions, we disagree with one, we are not even allowed to amend that one. We either have to throw out all the 100, or we allow it to pass. And they make sure that it is impossible for us to throw it out by insisting that you must have two-thirds majority votes to throw it out. And in a bipartisan parliament like this, it's almost impossible to get two-thirds majority to vote against an instrument, particularly because of the fundamentalist nature of politicians, not only in Ghana, in many countries. I only succeeded in getting Parliament to throw out an instrument when I was chairman of the Subsidiary Legislation Committee in 1994. And that instrument came from Trade and Industry Ministry. Since then, nothing like that has happened. So you see, there definitely must be lessons for us to learn.
Away from that, the Auditor General is pursuing a driver who failed to deliver about 3 million pieces of male condoms and other contraceptives valued at 1.34 million Ghana cedis to the regional medical stores in the eastern region. This was captured in the last Auditor General's report on the public account of ministries, departments and agencies, which uncovered more than 2 billion Ghana cedis financial irregularities in 2023. According to Graphic.com, the driver, Joe Jatton, has also not been able to account for the items till date, prompting the Auditor General's inquest and efforts to recover the funds. Here is a News Desk report.
The Auditor General discovered the irregularities which were detected through the temporary Central Medical Stores requisition and issue voucher dated 22nd August 2022. The report stated that a follow-up investigation at the regional medical stores showed that Mr. Jatting failed to deliver the contraceptives to the storage facility. As a result, the items remained unaccounted for and their whereabouts remained unknown. This discovery suggested a potential case of misappropriation or mismanagement of public resources, warranting further investigation and action. The Auditor General therefore directed the Chief Director of the Ministry of Health to ensure that the head of the temporary Central Medical Stores recovered the amount of 1.34 million Ghana cedis from the delivery officer. The report also recommended that the recovered funds be paid into the Auditor General's recoveries account at the Bank of Ghana. It said failure to comply would result in the Chief Director and the head of the temporary Central Medical Stores being held personally liable for the debt. The Ministry of Health, according to the report, responded that it had referred the matter to the Health Intelligence Unit for further investigation. It said the Health Intelligence Unit is working closely with the Criminal Investigations Department of the Ghana Police Service to investigate the issue.
Well, the Executive Health Director of the Africa Center for Health Policy, Dr. Thomas Anaba, has been reacting to the development. According to Dr. Anaba, the Ghana Health Service must answer for its failure to rectify the situation in a timely manner.
We know for a fact that any consignment that leaves the central medical stores is supposed to be accompanied with a document that has duplicates. When it gets to the destination, then the receiving officer will receive it and authenticate the quantities, the numbers, the quality, and how they came, and then write on it, and the one delivering would sign, the one receiving would sign. If there's discrepancy, then it will be reported, then the corrections made. Then the one who delivered will send the signed documents back to the one who sent him to deliver it. This shows accountability. So therefore, if a driver is able to go away with 3 million condoms from the health system, and up till now they are still looking for him, it means that he didn't report back to the officer who sent him to discharge the goods to the destination they assigned the goods to. And if he didn't do that, what did they do? They were supposed to get the police involved to apprehend him immediately. They don't wait for Auditor General to come after 2 years to be asking of where the man is and asking that they should try and search for the gentleman who bolted away with those goods. It appears there is a little bit of connivance with the driver, the one who dispatched the goods, and the one who received the items. We must look into this. What did they want to use the condoms for? So I applaud the Auditor General for instructing that the Chief Director and the officers involved at the stores should be held accountable.
What kind of loopholes has this projected with regard to the systems that we've put in place to ensure there is safe delivery of medical equipment, drugs, and all of that?
I'll tell you for sure that there is no loopholes in the distribution of health commodities. What is missing is enforcement and implementation by officers who are supposed to make sure things are done well. People are supposed to follow the protocols and the guidelines for distribution of health commodities very well. So therefore, you can't sit aloof and wait for Auditor General to come and see it. So to me, there is no loophole in this. The protocols and the policies for distributing health commodities is very clear. It's only left with human beings to implement it well. It is negligence, it is connivance to some of us, And as I've said, this is a commodity to come and stop the spread of sexually transmitted diseases and to help our women control their birth, to allow proper population. If somebody has bolted with this, he has caused a very big harm to the country.
That's Dr. Thomas Anaba speaking with my colleague Lantam Papanko on GH1 television. Away from that, government is assured of initiating more policies to tackle unemployment, as about 2 million youth aged between 15 to 35 years are revealed to be ideal according to the Ghana Statistical Service. Ghana yesterday joined the rest of the world to commemorate Youth Skills Day, with the Ghana Statistical Service disclosing that some 1.2 million females and about 800,000 males in the country are not in education, employment, or any form of training. Reacting to the alarming rate of unemployment, government spokesperson Palgrave Wachidankwa says government will look to intensifying efforts in tackling unemployment. He spoke with me on GH today.
Taking the data from GSS and also comparing the data of what government is doing complements each other, because had government not come in, we would have had more numbers than we do have now, which means that government needs to do more, and our government promises to do more within the period that we have to be able to do more before we go into the electioneering cycle that we have, which is why government has implemented, look at the NEIP, the National Entrepreneurship Program, look at the Ghana Enterprise Agencies, some of the World Bank projects and grants that have come in. It's all to enable that we have a lot more skill enhancement. But government will do more, and government promises to do more, so that this number in the foreseeable future will reduce significantly from 2 million to about 1 million, and thereby to about 500,000, and then we can get to a 0 percentage.
But private legal practitioner Kwame Jantwa is skeptical about the assurance, as he cites loopholes in the already existing policies.
How have those programs been put together? What has been the plan for the youth? First point of call, do we have career guidance centers in this country? We brought in free education. President Akufo-Addo brought in free education. What was the plan for free education? Was it just for people, children, or the youth to be able to enroll and go to school in their droves? Or was there a specific plan as to how free education would work to the end of a person's educational ability? So the report tells us that female, 1.2 million. Mm-hmm. That is crazy. That is crazy. That's a crazy number. When Palgrave talked about Kayayo, is Kayayo work? If you want to do what you call it for Kayayo, is it work? Is it meaningful employment? So it hasn't, so far as I can see, it hasn't been targeted properly. Because if we've been doing this over and over again, change of government comes, they bring their own. Change of government comes, they bring their own, but it's not making any impact. Who has sat back to say, come? This thing doesn't seem to be working. We need to do it differently. Who has?
Let's now bring you the latest in the world of sports, and Nanama Jiman, aka the FIFA lady, seated. Nanama, what do you have for us?
So in sports this afternoon, Gareth Southgate has left his role as England manager. The news comes 2 days after England's Euro 2024 final defeat to Spain. The 53-year-old has been the boss for England for 8 years and exited the role after a fourth major tournament in charge, saying playing and managing his country has been the honor of his life and meant everything to him. Gareth Southgate stepped up from the under-21 to take charge of the senior side in 2016. Gareth Southgate's contract with the FA was due to expire at the end of this year, but ahead of the Euros, he granted an interview and he said he was going to leave if England did not lift the trophy. Now, also, Kylian Mbappe has been unveiled in front of 80,000 Real Madrid fans at the Santiago Bilbao and hails the move to the club of his dreams after leaving PSG. The French superstar beamed with smiles as he spoke about joining the club of his dreams. Kylian Mbappe will take the number 9 set after selling his move from PSG and ending one of football's most protracted transfer saga. That is all for sports. Back to you, Serwaa.
Thank you very much, Nanama Ajiman, aka the FIFA lady. Moving on, Member of Parliament for Wa West, Peter Tobu, has once again cautioned government against going through what he terms as secret recruitment into the security services. According to the former superintendent of police, his checks at the police training school at Tesano revealed that some people are going through medicals for recruitment without any public announcement of the exercise. Minister of Interior Henry Quartey announced that about 11,000 people will be recruited from a backlog of applicants. But addressing the media in Parliament, Peter Tobu questioned why the exercise has not been opened to the public. He warned of dire consequences since a time might come where firemen, might inspect party carts before dousing flames whenever called upon.
To be screened. Everybody in that category qualifies to be given some attention. Opportunities might be fairly distributed, and I do not have any problem with that. But we are not having clarity. We are not having clarity in the process. Recruitment has a standard process. That standard recruitment procedure cannot be violated without consequences. The young people of this country are frustrated. The young people of this country are angry. The young people of this country feel that there's so much hopelessness in the system. And if there are opportunities, we want to recruit 11,000 people. We expect transparency. We expect that the minister will be accountable to the people and to the law. And the minister will respect the various rules and regulations governing all these security sector agencies under him. I don't think that it's even the duty of the minister to get involved in recruitment. Recruitment is an administrative function. And for God's sake, if you look at the 1992 Constitution, operations and administration are both under the heads of these institutions, be it the Chief Fire Officer, the Comptroller General of the Immigration Service, the Director General of Prison Service, or the Inspector General of Police. That is their job. And I'm surprised to have a minister who is so much enthused about recruitment. I don't know where this is coming from. We rubbish the lay-down procedure at our own peril. That I can state without mincing words. This is bad. Let the minister to come clear. What are we doing?
And that's Member of Parliament for Wa West, Peter Tobu. And that's how we end this afternoon's edition of Starr Midday News. For more news, log on to starfm.com.gh. I am Serwaa Amihere. Have a good afternoon.